Hello. I wanted to do a little bit of a sneak peek of what it's like in your brand blueprint so that you could get an idea of what's involved, how it's going to work, those sorts of things. So this video will just take you through what the platform does and the different things we'll cover in the group. So we use the platform, and there's a space here to chat with your fellow group and anyone else who has done the blueprint in the past. Everyone's going to share their brand and inspire each other. And then there's also some resources from me, different kinds of tips, tricks, advice, any useful links, any helpful guides on how to create your different parts of your brand. So tips on doing your values, for example, and things like doing your vision and mission and examples and all these wonderful things that are helpful in creating your own brand. You can also message me via the platform. So if you're thinking you need some help or kind of want to run something past either me or the wider group, this platform actually enables you to do that. So it's really useful to keep in touch when we're not doing a live coaching session. So if you're part of the blueprint, you get this in the platform as well. So this is all of your weekly tasks, weekly and fortnightly tasks that help you to make up your blueprint. So there's 6 different topics of part of your brand blueprint. The first topic is your why. So the idea is we're going to start by really getting to grips with why you do what you do, to make sure that you can create a brand all around kind of what you're aiming to achieve, because there's no point being self-employed if you're just doing work that makes you miserable and you're not working with the people who really, really light you up. So we start, the very first thing we do is we start by focusing on your why, getting clear on what your goals are. So that might be your immediate goals, and then maybe your longer term goals, kind of 3-5 year perhaps. And they don't have to be like super concrete detail goals. They're more sort of things you want to aim for, because your brand is the thing that's going to get you there ultimately. And then we're going to look at your brand story. So why, how you talk about why you do what you do. That's what your brand story is. And there's always beautiful things within people's brand stories that their audience can connect with. So it's a super important task. And I think it really helps to connect with kind of why you do what you do as well. And it's a really useful task for doing your vision. And then we look at your brand vision. Now, I am a big believer of not doing brand exercises for the sake of it. But your vision is something that keeps you focused. So the idea behind the vision is it's your kind of your North Star, your guiding light, the thing that keeps you focused in what you're going to do. So if you want to create new services or products, if you benchmark it against your vision, you can then decide whether it's the right thing to get you where you want to be. So that's the first fortnight. We're starting with your why, really get you kind of form the foundations and really get you grounded. So the second fortnight, we're going to look at your way. So your way is really understanding how you do what you do. So it's things like your brand mission, which basically states, what you do, how you do it. It's the way you're going to get to reach your vision is your mission. It's a statement that just defines who you work with, what you do, and kind of how you do it, basically. And the purpose of that is to just kind of give you something to be able to talk about your business and kind of what you do. And the second thing we're going to do in this week is looking at your values. So your values are the things that will draw the people to you, your ideal people to you. Your values really kind of pull you out as being different to other people. It's what makes you you. It's what makes you unique, and kind of your beliefs and your behaviors as a business. And they thread through absolutely everything you do. So kind of working out what they are and defining them from early on is really, really crucial, because then it threads through everything you do. You know, they could impact how you do your services or your customer experience, those sorts of things. So that's the second topic in your brand blueprint. Now, the third fortnight, the third topic is all about your people, and it's really getting to know your ideal customers in detail. And what we're going to do is kind of not focus on, rather than focusing on who you could work with like anybody, it's really kind of getting to grips with who are your absolute ideal clients, who are the people that you really want to be working with. Because if you're talking to them, you will attract more of them, and you'll attract people like them around them. But if you're trying to talk to everybody, it makes it really, really difficult to actually talk to the people that you really want to get to, because you're not kind of tapping into their values and their beliefs and their actual wants and needs and problems and things. So we're going to get super clear on your ideal client, and we're going to create your customer avatars. So these are things to give you an idea of your ideal customers' motivations and goals and problems. And we're going to get really, really deep into your customers' problems, because if you can understand how you help to transform your customers' lives by solving those problems and communicate what you do in terms of that, it absolutely transforms how you talk about your business. So after we've looked at your people, we're going to move on to really starting building things into some kind of form and structure. So topic 4 is all about your offer. And so now we know a little bit now we know how you work and what you want to do and all these things. And we know all about your customers' problems. We're going to delve into designing your services. But what we actually do is we design your services from your customer's point of view. So rather than saying what you do, we look at your customers' problems and talk about each service in terms of how it solves their problem, because it really makes your service a hell of a lot easier to sell if you do it in that way. So it's kind of flipping a lot of the thinking of sometimes that people do in terms of talking about their services. And then once we've done your services, we're going to look at crafting your messaging. So we're going to take those customer problems and translate them into how you talk about what you do, so that your customers can really understand how you help them in relation to their problems. But we're going to do it in a positive way, so it's not all negative, talking about problems all the time. So once we've looked at your offer, we're going to move on to looking at the value you bring. So this is all about defining how you're different, how you stand out from the other people in your industry, how somebody makes a decision to work with you. So we know all about your values and all these things that make you different. But what we're actually going to start with on your value is we're going to start by looking at your competitors. Now, this is not to think about your competitors in terms of this is not to think about your competitors in terms of copying them. We don't want to copy competitors, but we want to kind of do a very kind of top level overview of what's out there in the market, and then be able to pinpoint what makes you different, how you're different to your competitors. And it's also a really good opportunity to take a very kind of outside view of looking at your competitors, because we can be terrors at like looking at our competitors and thinking, oh, I could be doing so much better. But actually, if you're taking the view objectively and looking at both their strengths and their weaknesses, there's a hell of a lot you can learn. But there's also things that you can say, well, actually, I do that a lot better, so maybe you could communicate certain things. And once we've done your competitor analysis, we can really understand what your X factor is. What is the thing that makes you different? And it could be all sorts of different things, you know, it could be the way you work, it could be your values, it could be your beliefs, your purpose, all these sorts of things. What is it that makes you different? So the final thing we're going to look at is your style. So it's all about threading your personality into your business. So based on what we know, everything we've done, we're going to define the personality of your brand. Thinking about, you know, the character of your brand. What if they're a person, who might they be, or what words you might use. So we're going to define things like the words you use, your voice, your tone. Are you playful? Are you serious? These sorts of things. And then we're going to look at all these individual things and everything we've looked at throughout the weeks, and we're going to say, right, how can I thread that into our visuals? You know, your visuals are there to communicate your messaging. You can reflect your personality. You might have certain messaging that you want to portray. So how can we do that through your visuals? So that is the topic. They're the topics of the blueprint. And it's 13 weeks. We're going to have a kickoff session, and we're going to have a session at the end as well, where we all kind of review and look and build a bit of an action plan for moving forward, because it doesn't stop there. Once you've done your blueprint, it's about how you're going to bring it to life. And that's going to be like, what do you need to do next? You know, do you need to do your website? Do you need to look at how you're going to create your content and these things? So the final session is all about action planning. And I just want to show you this in the platform. We've got all the events outlined for the 13 weeks. So once you join, you can jump on and you can see what's when, and you can plan your work, and hopefully you'll do your tasks in line with the group coaching sessions, so that you're not going too far ahead and getting overwhelmed. But this is where everything sits within the platform, and there'll be all the recordings within here as well once it's done. So that's your brand blueprint.